your tummy, Nick? My tummy hurts.
My stomach actually kind of hurts a little bit because I ate.
We both ran late and wolfed down meals.
Well, we were both right. Well, no. We were both right on time. We were both we both checked in. We both checked in at 5:29.
Yeah,
and then we were both like, "Give me a minute," and then we both decided to like hastily make a meal.
Yeah, I like podcasting on a full stomach, and I don't know why, because I'm sure it makes me worse.
It's not. It's actually wrong to do. Like, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Like, doesn't like digesting take blood away from your brain or something?
Some shit like that. I think just like, I don't know. I just never feel as sharp after I've eaten. I'm sure there's a scientific reason for it, like you said, but
yeah, me too. I mean, on the rare occasions I haven't just eaten, I feel so sharp.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about, like, gurgling desperation that makes that puts you so on the ball.
Plus, I do this a lot where like if we're about to record, I'm like, ooh, I should eat something, but I don't have time to eat a meal, so I'll just eat whatever trash is closest to my body.
Right.
So I ate like a bunch of chocolate pretzels my grandma mailed me for Christmas. And then then I realized like I was about to eat the whole bag, and I'm like, fuck, I should go at least like go microwave some Chinese food I have in the fridge or something.
Right. Yeah. At least which is actually just worse. Like, it's not like it is, I guess on paper that's better than just eating chocolate pretzels, but like adding Chinese food on top of chocolate pretzels, it's like,
it did make it way worse, but at least I got some chicken in there.
That's good.
Yeah, because chicken
is good.
When I don't eat any protein at all, I feel poisoned.
Well, you do get that thing. I would get that thing when I lived in the very first house we lived in, and I thought that budgeting was spending 50 cents on a ciabatta loaf every day and being like, that'll last you the whole day. All you need is one. You're
eating like a 1700s prisoner.
Yeah, just water and bread that you could chip your tooth on.
Yeah.
And I was literally so stupid. I was like, why don't people just eat bread? It's so cheap. You get like, you're full. And then like, after like the third day, like, you're not getting any nutrients at all. Like, you're not getting it is one of the strangest feelings to only eat. You get this, like, how could I describe it? It feels like your stomach is full of dry water.
I understand.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I remember when we lived together, seeing you like eat 2 cup noodles for lunch.
Yeah,
once.
It's good stuff.
I was like, cup noodles, put like a piece of cheese, some lunch meat in that. It's a great meal. And you're like, cheese and lunch meat?
What do I look like?
You looked at me like I was a Rockefeller or something.
I like the cup noodles. I would make those cup noodles with like temperate water, like not even hot water, because I liked the crunch.
Yeah, you would just take water out of the tap.
I would stick a fork in it and then I would eat it almost like a freezer pop, basically.
So it was like solid food for you.
Yeah, I was like biting into it, like crunching it. Yeah, and I would get water like right out of the tap.
It's like puncturing your esophagus.
I really liked it. Sometimes I don't have to do it anymore, but sometimes I do it as like a nostalgic thing. I just
You're like, I made it is just not having to eat cup noodles wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, now I'm doing pretty good and I can eat it the correct way. But
I still like it the wrong way.
I understand that.
I remember like the ciabatta thing got so bad that like even when I was like, I don't know how this poor girl that I dated from USC, like she came over to my house and like I served her ciabatta bread. It was like
that girl basically functioned as a truck stop for you.
Oh my! please explain what you mean before I.
Well, I didn't even think of the sexual angle, but I guess that applies too. Where it's like you're out on the road, all alone, no one taking care of you. You stop. You put your quarters in the shower.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, no, this isn't when I was homeless. This is precursor to homeless. This is just living in poverty.
Mm.
Where like I have been living I don't know if I talked about this on another episode, but like this girl, who was like a medical student at US, who I still follow on Instagram, and she's having an incredible life. I was like such a period that she will look back on and be like, what? That was dicey. I almost went down a really bad path.
Oh yeah, I know for sure that I'm one or two girls that.
Oh, it's so bad to be a phase in a person's life. But I remember one time, like, she came over and we were hooking up on my air mattress that I would have to, like, in the middle of sex, we would have to stop, and then I'd have to reinflate it. She would just have to sit on my filthy carpet amongst, like, Tim's Sega Saturn games and, like, wait for the like, go back up. And
dudes
also
rock.
Dudes rock, dude. And this is all, I was fostering this cat, Leia. And Leia was a really, really smelly cat, but because I lived in it, because I was just in that room, I became attuned to the bad smell. So I had sex with this girl on my deflating air mattress, thought things were going great, and then, like, when we finished up, I was like, do you want to spend the night on this air mattress? On this air mattress that we'll wake up at 3 and be on the ground. And she like, after we were done having sex, she was like, no, I really have to go. I really, really have to go. I'm like, did I do something wrong? She's like, no, you're fine. I gotta go. I want to spend the night in my dorm. And I was like, all right, weird. And then, like, a couple hours after she left, I was, like, cleaning, and I found out that Leia, the cat, had not been using her litter box. Instead, she had been taking huge dumps, just like huge dumps in the corner of the room, and then covering them with the Super Nintendo boxes. So there were a bunch of really expensive Super Nintendo games that just had shit and piss plastered to them, and I couldn't smell it at all. But
oh yeah, because your nose is all fucked up too.
Well, my nose is all fucked up, and also, like, you know, if you work in a field of cows, eventually you stop smelling the cow shit. Like, that's just, you get acclimated to it. And you know, I was holding
living
it in my
in a
hand.
room of shit covered game cartridges,
shit covered Super Nintendo games, and I was holding it in my hand, and I was going, I don't smell this, but I would wager that this probably I would be willing
if I
to bet
had to reckon.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that this doesn't not smell. I would be willing to bet that this isn't not making a definite impact on this environment.
On this relationship.
Yeah. Oh my fucking God.
You're
so
Andrew
bad.
Garfield. She's in your apartment. She's like, what's that smell? You're like, oh, must skunk outside maybe? I don't know.
I really Under the Silver Lake really was a damn documentary about me.
About a murderer who watches old movies.
Yeah.
The Nick Oldershaw story.
Just be like, why doesn't anybody like me? And somebody has to be like, maybe it's because you don't pay your rent on time and you're weird. Like, and you're always trying to get people to co-sign on theories that you have no basis, like, that are not based in reality at all.
I feel like our friendship is us just taking turns being under the Silver Lake.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's taking turns is better than both doing it at the same time.
Yeah, that would really cause a problem.
That would bode very poorly.
It truly would. Yeah, I don't think that guy's emailing us back, is he?
We did get an email back.
Well, that guy, but then
Oh, the director?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, did we send him the email?
Yeah, Dylan said that he could get questions to, like, a friend of his who knows the director. I sent him the questions. He did. I definitely believe they got to the director. I do not think we're getting a response.
Oh, I thought that email. I thought we had to confirm whether or not I'll have to reread the email. I think regardless, you're right. I would imagine that, like, the director is very upset that somebody had, like, because I'm sure that he sees this online. He sees the people obsessing and he's like, well, thank God there's at least, like, a thick wall of glass between me and these people. and then we show up right in his inbox. Honestly, really, really poor judgment call on Dylan's part.
Yeah, Dylan hooks us up with so much cool shit that is just a grave miscalculation on his part.
Well, even in that email that we got back, the guy was like, so glad you guys liked the movie. I don't think I can answer a single question that you've asked, but he's like, I can tell you about like, but I had a good time working on it. Like, it was the most like.
We should probably explain more what we're talking about. So anyway, we talk about this movie Under the Silver Lake a lot, which is a movie about like conspiracy theories surrounding the Hollywood elites. So we love this movie. It's a really good movie. And
definitely recommend it.
Yeah. So and the thing about the movie is there's a conspiracy theory built into it where there's like codes and ciphers and stuff that people are trying to solve. But we don't really give a shit about that. We want to know why the release of the movie got tanked, and is it because he wrote a movie about Hollywood elites, and are they tanking it just like they killed Stanley Kubrick?
Definitively, that's
so we send and one of the rumors is that the movie was recut, but then every time you ask someone vaguely related, they're like, actually it wasn't recut at all. The editing process did take 1.5 years, but we didn't change anything. Nothing at all.
Yeah, it's really because that was what that guy said in the email. He's like, it's exactly the same as the cut that was shown at Cannes or whatever. And I wanted to be like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, to wait 1.5 years and then put it online.
Well, shelve it. Also, the official story is that it was being recut. Like, you can still find news articles about that.
Yeah. And then like the news articles since are like, I don't know what happened. Bad reviews.
Yeah. Did you see that the criticism on Rotten Tomatoes, like if you look at like, it's got like a 50 or something, which usually is the sign of a good movie, I'll say. A lot of the criticism is pointed at like its sexist depiction of like women. And it's like, you guys are completely missing the point.
Yeah. It's like, it's about a sociopath.
Yeah, it is also like it's about women being objectified like in terrifying ways by this like Hollywood machine. Like it would be weird if the movie was about what it was about and then there was no objectification of women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like, tied to the thesis.
The movie would be more offensive then, because then you'd be showing women being like preyed upon by Hollywood and them being like, "This is a great deal for me."
Yeah, holy fuck.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I phrased the question of like, do you see any similarities between this and Eyes Wide Shut? I think I wrote it in a very delicate way where it was like just removed enough from like, hey, do you think Stanley Kubrick was murdered, and do you think you'll get murdered too? Like,
right. I did look at some of your questions, and I was like, oh my, he's shooting right from the hip, dude. Like
we were gonna get one shot.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. We were going to get one shot. But yeah, that would have been a cool... I was so excited. If we had gotten responses, I was so excited to do like an NPR podcast, like just once research and produce a podcast where we like cut to things and have like music beds.
We should have just done an 8-hour NPR style podcast of us like interviewing people just to get his address. I mean, it honestly, it would have been like opening up Al Capone's safe, where like ultimately we would have just been thrown out of whatever like apartment building he lives in the valley. But but it would have been fun to have like an 8-episode lead up of us like stalking this director who we're convinced will relate to us.
Yeah. And then we find out he's like, oh, you guys believe in conspiracy theories? I wrote this to villainize men like you. Which I honestly, in my gut, I don't think so. I think that
no, I don't think so either.
Yeah, the movie is clearly being like, hey, isn't there some weird stuff in this town?
Right. There's so much weird stuff in this town. It's very funny to make a movie and know that you're like that like a number of people who see it will just start traveling to landmarks. It's funny to put that out there and just be like, all right, this is going to sit for a couple months, and then groups will start roving towards places that I've told them to go arbitrarily. It's like, yeah, that must be the ultimate nut.
It's unclear, like if so people here, and the weird thing about it is like there's almost no one else I can find online who talks about the movie like you and me. Everybody else is like, how do we solve the codes that they put in the movie? No one is like, isn't it weird how they released this movie?
Right, yeah. Well, maybe I don't know how I don't maybe that story wasn't as publicized as I thought, but I thought it was because like the trailer got a lot of buzz. Supposed to come out that summer, didn't come
Yeah.
out. Trailers released, so I don't know.
Yeah, trailers also have like weird shit in it that's not in the movie. Like one of the trailers says that like the one like sex slave girl has the same last name as the billionaire. And if you watch that clip, you're like, was she his daughter? Is this like Chinatown or something?
Right,
Not in the movie.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's another. I mean, you don't know. He probably. Oh, it's. I don't know who cut the trailer. If he had any say over that, but that's another. That's another like strange detail where it's like that seems like it would be something so deliberate in the screenplay that it would have to fit in.
Yeah, because I mean,
You know.
trailers use footage not in the movie, but I don't think they like composite their. I don't think trailer houses are gonna like composite their own like lower thirds from like news footage and stuff.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? Like
They show so like there's a shot in it where it's like a shot of a TV with the news playing with the girl Sarah being interviewed, which she's never interviewed by the news in the movie at all.
Right. Well,
and I have no idea where that would fit into the script.
what that means is the trailer house cut it probably from a work print cut where like that scene was still in it, and then they put it in, and then it was excised from a later cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So it's
So,
just
yeah.
it's very strange that because that changes the movie so much
If they have the same last name.
if they're related, and if she's
Damn,
like
dude.
alive after the news story is broken.
Right.
I mean, she's spoiler alert.
Yeah, you should watch. Yeah.
It's a really good
If
movie.
you haven't
Watch
seen
it.
the movie, go watch the movie.
Yeah.
It's confusing enough that probably won't ruin it for you.
Yeah,
But
watch the movie and join us in the Discord and sound off on your theories.
maybe I'll make a dedicated Under the Silver Lake channel in the Discord. If you guys want to start posting like photos from the coordinates that you've traveled to.
Yeah, there is. It's cool that there is like an active subreddit of people trying to decode a movie no one saw like 2 years later.
Right. Yeah. The fact that it's still current is wild to me.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where people are like traveling like deep into like forests. Like far away from trails. like people are like, all right, I found this coordinate 14 miles from the ranger station.
That's dicey. I want that to happen with this podcast. Like I want people like my dream more than anything is I want people to start traveling to like places that we've talked about from anecdotes.
Like what places?
I mean, I would love to. I would love if people started taking selfies in like every defunct fucking like dive bar where we did stand up. Maybe like if we could just get all of our listeners to like flash mob the Jimmy John's where I worked when I was 19 years old.
That is weird how like podcasts will create lore around like stand up. Like I know it might be weird to talk about like another podcast this way, but I remember like after Cumtown had blown up, like taking one of my Philly buddies to a show in Baltimore and him seeing Tom Meyer's business cards there. And he's like, that's Tom Meyer's business card. And I'm like, yeah, he's like a weirdo who does stand up. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't listening to Cumtown.
Right.
I was just
remember.
like, oh yeah, that guy who's weird.
Yeah. I love Tom. I remember there's a like where Jace Avery like walked up to Isaac like grinning and in a hushed tone was like, Isaac, do you know Tom Myers?
Yeah, and I just remember him as a guy who would like show up at my open mic 4 or 5 times a year and always email ahead like he's like a headliner dropping in.
Tom's the best. I miss when they would let Tom. They used to let Tom. It was so fucking mean. Hayes and Tom. It's really been a baton that's been passed because even prior to podcasts, Mickey Coachella at 98 Rock in Baltimore would have Tom on, be like, like to make fun of him the whole time. They would just like make fun of him to his face, and then it got to the point where like sometimes Mickey like would call out for whatever reason, and they would let Tom host the morning show, which was so fucking funny because I mean he was just going tits up every time. He was terrible. The interns were making fun of him. The other mics were making fun of him. Everybody was just being combative, but he stayed for the whole fucking 4 hours or whatever. I remember tuning into 98 Rock one morning, like as I'm driving this is like on the way to Annapolis. I might have still been working at the mall, and I was like, "Is that fucking Tom Myers?" Segment on the morning show,
dude. I want to fucking torrent like how you can torrent every like Patrice O'Neill O&A episode.
Yeah,
I want a Tom Myers 98 Rock like folder.
Well, dude, people from 98 Rock have
zip file.
People from 98 Rock have showed up in such weird places, like Justin Schlegel. His face became a fucking meme that I saw that was like on somebody's, it was like a meme that was going around for a while, just like uncredited. And then I don't know if you ever watch porn, but there's like this ad that pops up before porn sometimes where it's this girl who's like dancing topless and she's on a stage at like a big outdoor event. And in the background behind her is just Mickey Coachella trying not to look at her ass. Like Mickey, I guess Mickey Coachella is like emceeing some like fucking top. I don't know what it is. The shot isn't wide enough to be able to tell what the fuck it is, but Mickey Coachella is there. Like, it makes me laugh every time.
I'm just imagining it's like years later, like the climate has changed, trying to do Stern. Like, hey, we got a girl jerking off in the studio here in 2004.
Well, they used that, man. That's like, they would even do that. Like local radio shows would do that. Local radio, like WHFS 98 Rock. I remember that's right. The morning show for HFS was the Junkies in the morning. The Junkies. I get with, cute for a Baltimore show. The Junkies in the morning. Yeah. And they would straight up like have
a city with a famous heroin problem.
A city with maybe one of the worst opioid crises on the East Coast. And it's so funny because they would have these fucking guys on. They would have like Brett the Irish Comic who would come. And so like when I was like in middle school, I would like listen to Brett the Irish Comic, and in my head I was like, "Oh, Brett the Irish Comic. He's up there with like, Fluffy. He's like, he's like one of the big guys." And then you're 18 and you're doing fucking Drink Till We're Funny in Timonium, and you see this tragic obese fucking guy wearing one of those, what is it? It's not quite a newsy hat. It's basically a newsy hat.
Yeah, just like a Jeff cap.
Yeah. Just bombing so hard that people are threatening to throw food at him. And they would
in early stand-up, you go through so many like layers of deceit.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm
just like people who like really make you believe that they're like important.
Yeah, like you should listen to me. Listen to me. You should listen to me. And you should never do it. Yeah, I remember the Junkies would have girls on, and they would like in the like morning show that I was listening to before I went to middle school. They would like have girls on, just like putting vegetables in their ass, just like on the air. I mean, it's radio, so I guess you can do it. But like,
it'd be funny if like they weren't doing it. It's like Prairie Home Companion. Someone has a table with like shoes and like props.
It's like a Mercury Theater production. It's like. Yeah. It's like War of the Worlds.
We got to make this show more like Prairie Home Companion.
That would have been awesome if Orson Welles had just like done those shows from those radio theaters. Like, oh, and what's this? A nude woman is traipsing into the room, and what she got there?
If you listen close, you can hear her pussy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe this. She's going to play the flute, and she's not using her mouth. Only at the Mercury Theater can you experience the eighth wonder of the world, which is, Griselda playing a child's recorder using only the muscles of her labia. That would have been sick. He should have fucking done that.
Yeah. That is sick. When I was working on the radio drama thing that we were working on, which I'll get back to at some point, I was listening to old Orson Welles radio plays because I had never really like listened to the format, and it just made me laugh so hard. I was listening to the Black Museum, and like it starts. It's like the Black Museum. In here we have many objects that have been used to kill. Learn how and why. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be like a weird object to kill someone with. That's like, you have to guess how they would even murder someone with it. And it's like, right. Object number 1, the gun.
Ah, yes. It's
I think it like if I recall correctly, it's like he's like, we joined this couple at like and he just like it goes to a scene of just like this lady mouthing off to her husband. And I'm like, I think I can see where this episode's going.
it would be funny if it was just like it would be very funny if those episodes were just like inadvertently very detailed instructions on how to murder people. Like there's somebody listening so intently, like taking notes. He grows up to be the Zodiac killer.
Hell yes. We got to get on terrestrial radio. We joke about pirate radio, but I would love to like get legitimized.
It's funny how the dream, even though like what's clearly happened is like terrestrial radio, cable, all they're dead, they're dying art forms. But the dream for everybody like who's like, you know, not like we're in new media, but this is the direction that things are heading in. It's funny how everybody's aspirations is to just like go backward on an objectively worse format.
Mm-hmm.
Like because
it's objectively worse, so we wouldn't have to do as good a job.
Right, and
we try pretty hard here, I'd say.
We do. But
imagine if it was you, me, 4 hours, 5 days a week.
As long as we have interns that we can abuse, I would make that trade. And as long as we were backed up by like, you know, a fucking, I think the legitimacy of it is nice, is like being backed up by $1 billion corporation. Although, I mean, how did that last one go for us? You know, but it's you know, it's weird. It's weird how I think maybe it's just because like you want the benchmarks that you grew up like admiring, but then like by the time you get there, they don't exist. It's changed already, you know. What are you going to go on Letterman? What are you going to do?
I mean, we already arguably missed podcasting, so I don't know.
We did miss podcasting. We're hanging we're hanging on like to the ship has sailed, and we're ostensibly like clinging to like a rope hanging off of the back. Like we're stowaways on the podcasting ship, basically. We're not even on the boat yet is the thing. Like it's very
we'll get on the boat. Don't worry.
You give us time, we'll get on the boat.
Now we'll get on the boat right when it reaches the part of the map that's just monsters.
Right, and be promptly thrown off.
We will walk the plank off the podcasting boat.
We will absolutely walk the plank.
Oh man, it's got a rule to be like a local radio guy though, because like you just dick around for 4 hours, aren't even that funny, just phone it in, and you show up.
There was a guy in DC, Danny Rouhier, who was like a local radio. Like I used to like, you know, when you're young and you think that you're going to be famous, you turn your nose up at these people. They have the greatest gig in the world. They get to just like chill out, stay local. There's a very low bar for success. More people, you would be amazed at like the way that people at Magoobies would fawn. Like there could be a good comic like Sebastian Maniscalco or somebody showing up. People would like go way more apeshit about like getting autographs from like Mickey Coachella. You know what I mean? Because like, oh, he's like a tangible local, like, it's weird how much more of an impression you make on people when you stay around them. And it's easy to get laid. Like you basically get all the perks of like all the superficial perks of fame without any of like the life crushing, like, you know, you don't have to like sell your soul that bad. There's not these expectations of you.
Yeah. It would be sick though. We have the radio show. You get to go out and headline bad comedy shows that guys like you and me open for you.
Just playing like an Italian restaurant in Hagerstown.
And crushing.
Absolutely crushing.
Yeah.
You know,
not a single one of the 8 comics who opened for you gets a single laugh, and then you go up and crush harder than anyone for 12 minutes.
They let you destroy their furniture, just for the sake of a bit. They let you like fuck a stool into smithereens.
You destroy your dick.
Yeah, you literally end the show with huge chunks of bloody splinters like stuck to the front of your pants, and then you crush so hard that you fuck a 50-year-old woman with like skin cancer afterwards in her car. Like this.
Either that or like a 24-year-old single mom who works at Sheetz.
Yes.
And she's hot. She's like hot for a woman on hard drugs.
Well, Brendan, to tell you the truth, I mean, I've done that, and I don't. You don't have to be notable to do that.
Nick, I know.
That was the last time I was home. Oh, man. Oh, well, this is a bonus episode. Okay, I'm fine. I think the last time I was home last Christmas, I was like going on dates. I went on 2 dates with a single mom in Glen Burnie.
Yeah.
Just like while
I love like you see your family twice a year and you're like, I'm gonna go try to get some pussy.
Both times. Well, not both times. Well, because there was that like I went to Florida for like my grandparents' like 82nd birthday, and like they all like went out for dinner. And I was like, I'm not feeling that well. I'm going to stay home. The minute they were at the door, I was like on Tinder, like got a date, slept over at this girl's house, did ecstasy, showed up the next morning at like the gates of the retirement community, just completely burned out and hungover, like serotonin depleted, just like tapping on the guard's window. Just like, can you please let me in? My grandparents I'll give you their house number. Showed up late to brunch in the dining hall. My dad was like, where the fuck were you? And I do that every time I go home.
Well, are you going to say that's over?
It's over now. Oh yeah, it's totally over now. I wouldn't. Yeah,
I wanted to give you that because I know that's true, but I was like,
it's over now.
Nick should probably say that.
No, it's over. I'm in a very committed relationship. I post my girlfriend on my timeline. There are no secrets.
Which is that is huge for you.
It's huge. Well, yeah, it is huge. It might be. It's funny. I posted that picture of her like right after we did the episode where we called out Owen Benjamin in the title. and she was like, aren't his fans crazy? And now they know what I look like. I was like, I guess that's a good point. I'm gonna leave it up.
That is what his fans would do. Just go after like a tangential woman.
Yeah, she wasn't wrong. Absolutely, she wasn't wrong. I was like, that's actually very smart. You're very savvy to internet trolling.
Yeah, women really have like a sixth sense for being murdered.
Yeah,
they're real good at sniffing that one out.
Yes, I mean yes and no. I don't know. She keeps telling me like she's working this job right now where like they're I don't want to dox her too much, but she's working in this like it was an education facility, but now it's being repurposed for something else. And they're like, I don't know if it was like condemned or whatever, but there are like large areas of it that are unsafe where like the power doesn't come on. Like there's power only to sections of these buildings. She's like, yeah, my friend from work, he's really cool. He was like showing me like all these like secret parts of the building we work. Where, like he like showed me this like secret dark hallway where like the lights don't come on, and I was like, babe, stop following him places. Like,
yeah, don't go urban, babe. Don't go urban exploring with men.
Please stop going urban exploring on the clock with your coworkers. She's like today he gave me a gift. I'm like, he gave you a gift? She's like, it's just a little trinket. I'm like, have you seen True Detective? He's giving you flowers.
Yeah. If I had a coworker and I had the notion to give her a gift, I would not do it for fear she would think I wanted to fuck her.
Yeah, I guess my girlfriend is. I can't tell how naive she is. I just don't think she likes to be mean to people. Well, she did start
dating a podcaster that she met on the internet. So
she knows. She knows what she's getting into. I tell her that all the time.
I love that our girlfriends did it. They did the opposite of each other, where she heard you on the podcast and now you're together. And then my girlfriend met me, was like, wow, this guy is really nice. I think he mentioned he had a podcast. Let me listen to it. And then was like, oh my God.
Oh, I have to seriously reassess this situation.
And I found out really recently she does still listen every week. She just doesn't like ask me follow-up questions about the episodes anymore. So perfect.
That's probably smart. My girlfriend has stopped listening, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Very big fan of.
Yeah, there's really no reason.
there's absolutely nothing that you can glean from this that will be useful to you or me. But yeah. So this will be the first year where I don't show up, where I don't just like disappear for 2 days at a time without texting my family. Yeah. It would be insane if I like still did that like in COVID. Like I came back like visibly sick.
Yeah. You lick COVID out of a pussy. Like visible levels of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I can feel it on my tongue.
Like, what's that?
Yeah.
Is that yogurt?
What the fuck?
Am I tasting yogurt?
Yeah, hang on. What's in my teeth? Oh, it's one of those little spiky balls. What is that?
Yeah.
I know I saw this on the news.
It's stuck in your teeth like a fruit pit or something.
Yeah. Damn, that girl's gonna die then. Whoever's pussy I'm eating, holy shit.
She is dead. You're eating.
She died in the middle.
Yeah. You're on Tinder swiping and you see just like a corpse and you're like,
That's me. No, I better get like I'm hesitant. Like I recognize, like I'm like, you look sick. Are you sure you want to do? She's like, I'm fine. Just please, just eat my pussy. I need
coughing blood into a handkerchief.
It's not Christmas Eve unless a stranger eats my pussy, you know? And then like she expires like while I'm down there.
It's another like Glenn Burney single mom. So she's like, all right, we can fuck, but I need you to pretend to be Santa for my kid. I have a suit in the car.
I find out that she dies because I'm eating her pussy, and then like she stillbirths into my mouth, and I'm like, are you okay?
I have such like a vivid image of like the type of like rural PA Maryland woman. Like there is a specific like face. I don't know how to describe it. They have like
there's a Maryland face,
really thin hair.
Yes. Okay. They have bad Maryland PA stock. They have small eyes that are small and they're kind of far apart, but they don't look Asian. I truly don't know how to explain it, but it is something with like small eyes, kind of like flat, round features, and forehead isn't necessarily big, but you definitely notice it.
I'd say it's kind of big and kind of like shiny.
Yeah, kind of a shiny. Dude, I have I shouldn't admit this. I have a folder of pictures, just like from people that
you shouldn't admit this.
I shouldn't admit this, but I have a folder just called Maryland retards. I think I've actually sent some of them to the chat, just to like various people who at some point I friended on Facebook. I don't remember, like I would never be friends with them in real life because they're disgusting looking. Like just on the basis of how they look, I wouldn't talk to them.
Nick, we're friends.
No, Brendan, you're not ugly. You're not an ugly guy. Mm-hmm. We all tell you this. You're good.
I know. Yeah, I'm kind of cute. I'm like I'm a cute little fat guy. You know.
Yeah, you're a cute little fat guy, dude. Yeah. But I have a folder full of like Maryland people. I've like studied the look very closely. You know, that's just something that I have.
It looks kind of like when you see like a classical painting of like an inbred royal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they are. I mean, a lot of it is fucking inbreeding. A lot of it is just like bad East Coast, like,
and like a little bit of fetal alcohol syndrome in the mix.
Oh, dude, I knew this girl. She had big Maryland face. This girl, I'll say her fucking name. She's a piece of shit. Nikki Davis. I might have told this story before, but she got knocked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You have, but I mean, say it in case someone doesn't know.
She got knocked up and then drank through the whole pregnancy. And when somebody confronted her about why she was drinking, she said, because I want a retarded baby because they love you more. And she got her wish.
That's attempted murder. That woman should be in prison.
Yeah, dude, I wonder if she's alive. I haven't checked in on her in like years. That might be something to Google right now. Hang on, talking.
I'll vamp.
Yeah, just go ahead and I can do two things at once. This will take 2 seconds. But yeah, keep talking about ugly people from the fucking East Coast because it's such a distinct look.
It really is. Men and women. Like men, it's a little bit different.
Right.
Men, it's very much like a kind of like a it's like definite unibrow.
Right. Yeah, unibrow is a huge part of it.
Yeah. Unibrow, like a thin nose.
Yeah. You and just like horrible, like they shave their heads and then they always like let it grow out to like the wrong length. Like the hair is in this weird in between buzz cut state. That's Shore Boys specifically.
Like slightly shorter than mine right now. Or like around this, like where this isn't done. Like I'm gonna grow it out longer. But it's like always here.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of like a lot of chin straps.
And weak chins. Weak chins is a huge thing for Maryland women. This is such a mean episode. I found this girl, by the way. I found this girl. She did not stop having babies.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, dude. And they all look a tad askew, I'll be honest.
Oh, no.
This is great. Am I friends with her? I'm going to add her.
No, don't add her because then people listening can find her in your friends list.
Oh,
the name is generic enough that you didn't quite.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
If you're listening, be cool. Don't be worried about it.
Oh, look. One of her kids is a little karate. Oh, that's good. I need to stop giving out details about like her family. It's so funny because I do genuinely like what happens is I wind up like genuinely like reconnecting with people where like I start like looking at their feet. I'm like, oh, it's interesting to see where they were. And then I remember like the whole reason I looked them up in the first place is because like I wanted to like dunk on them. I just think they're like hideous creatures.
And you've always done this. So there were definitely times that you were like parked outside of McDonald's using their Wi-Fi in the car that you live in, just like fucking loser.
Absolutely. Well, it's like, look, at the very least, I'm a loser in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
Which is like automatic.
In Hollywood.
I'm automatically. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I'm the smallest fish in the biggest pond.
I'm not even in the pond. Yeah. I'm gasping for air on the riverbank. Yeah, wow, this is such a fucking psychotic. I'm gonna send you this whole folder later because I think you'll like it.
This is a lot of Tinder screenshots.
No. This is Facebook. There used to be.
This is incredibly mean, but I miss Tinder. Not that I would know now, but like they used to have this feature where you could recommend people to your friends.
I used it many times.
I think they took it away immediately because all people would do is send their friends just the most horrific looking people.
Do you know what I would do to that with that feature? I would game the system. I would recommend to my own number so that I could like if I ran out of swipes, I could start right on a girl that I liked that I ran out of swipes on.
Ooh. So
you could like recommend it to yourself back when it was a feature. Yeah, I got pretty good at working Tinder.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty good at hacking pussy.
Yeah. I have the I've got the game genie for Tinder. I'm using cheat codes on Tinder.
Yeah. You have the Game Shark, so you plug it into the pussy and then fuck that.
Yeah. I'm looking at this folder, and do you know what a lot of it is? A lot of this is photos of people like smiling on their wedding day. I remember what I would do. I would just look up photos of ugly people from Maryland, just like, in the middle of the happiest moment of their life. Like, just they can't believe how excited they are to be married to each other. And I would just smugly look at these like, these people don't even know that they're ugly.
Lit up by your laptop in a completely dark room.
Yes.
Room full of cat shit.
Yes. Literally a room full of cat shit that I can't even smell anymore. just like at least I'm not these fucking losers. Oh my god.
I'm in Hollywood, baby.
Yeah.
was funny earlier when you were talking about like when you're young and you think that you're famous, and I was thinking about how, or you think that you're going to be famous, and I was thinking about how it's like, it's not one revelation. It's like just downgrading the dream slowly. So it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to be like Kevin Hart, but I'll be like writing on a show. And then you're like, well, I'm not going to like write a show, but I'm going to like have a Patreon.
Yeah, it's I mean, well, you know what's funny though? If I can be somewhat hopeful, I think that sometimes in downgrading, you do wind up achieving you can sometimes achieve goals after you don't want them anymore. So it just feels like less. Because like I guess the ideal situation is to be like the best feeling, the feeling everybody's that everybody's chasing is like the allure of being famous in your 20s, of like getting it all really fast. Because that's also that's a very pivotal time in your life when just by the nature of like your brain chemistry at that age, everything feels like it's carrying a lot of weight. And for like reality to actually match how you're feeling inside, that must be a crazy fucking nut to get off on.
Oh yeah.
That being said, I think it's also probably good to like lower your expectations, be realistic, and then wind up at places like one day, like take a step back and be like, oh fuck, I did do some of the things I wanted to do. I just didn't care as much when I did them.
Yeah, that's true. You MC the Harrisburg Comedy Zone after you've already forgotten that it was once a goal.
Yes, exactly. Actually.
Yeah, you get to do things when you're like, well, yeah, obviously I get to do that.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like mad about it.
It's good to take a step back and realize that emceeing the Harrisburg Comedy Zone is a privilege of a charmed life, to be sure.
Yeah.
God, it's been so. When did I did the Harrisburg Comedy Zone? No. What the fuck? What was it in Harrisburg? What was the comedy place that like had like palm trees painted?
That was the Harrisburg Comedy Zone.
That is the Harrisburg Comedy Zone. Yeah.
And they had the opening, like the thing they would play over the speakers. There would be like, "You are now entering a dimension of sound." A dimension like they do the Twilight
from the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, you are entering the Comedy Zone. Oh
my fucking god! Dude. Why? I want.
Please put your cell phones on silent and get.
Why do all comedy clubs play like jock jam hype music? You know what I mean? Like like Magoobies does the same fucking thing where it's like it's the song from Kill Bill set to what clips of comedians? I can't fucking remember what it is, but it's way too fucking high energy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like they would also play it before the mic, so you'd be sitting there with like 8 comics in like basically a wedding hall sized room, and it's like you'd lean over to your buddy, you'd be like, "Are you ready for the funniest night of your life?"
That Harrisburg, I think I've talked about this. That Harrisburg Comedy Zone trip was pivotal. I've definitely talked about this before because like I watched like these 3 comics who I looked up to all cheat on their wives, like dragging me into clubs. Like they took me along. They're like you're working hard. We want to give you a shot to like host this show. You're going to do a good job. And then they like made me stay in Harrisburg until 3 a.m. and just like kept like dragging me to clubs that I was too young to get into and they were too old to be at until like I wound up in this club of it was all black. I was the only white person in it, and then the comics I was with, like they went into the room where you could drink and they just left me in like a sea of like grinding black teens. It's literally that like that still from The Simpsons where what the fuck
where
Smithers?
Homer's wearing like the pink shirt. They're like,
no, where the guy where he's crying in front of the strippers, where they're like dancing on him. Who is that? Is that Smithers?
I don't remember. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, well, it was basically that. I was just like, there was just like a sea of just like sweaty, like, you know, just a bunch of like edging bodies, and then just like me in the corner, just like, am I gonna die? Like,
yeah.
Like, are they...
For some reason in rural PA, like Harrisburg area, every comedy show ends with like a dance party.
Yeah,
it's real fucking weird. And it's like different people, like the people. It's like more people show up for the dance party than the show. So like by the end of the show, there's people like looking in the room, waiting for it to be over and stuff. I remember the when it briefly existed, the Second Street Comedy Club, which I think was like a tax shelter of some kind. But, they only used one MC. They only passed one guy, and he was horrible, but he was like a friend of like the head waitress. So he MC'd every show for like the 9 months it existed. And in order, like, the entrance that you came in, they would close that, like, they would lock that door. You couldn't go out that way, which is like a fire hazard, I'm sure. And you had to leave out like this specific entrance past the merch booth that went down 3 floors, and then you exited through a dance floor.
Oh my fucking God, dude. We would do that. The steakhouse that I worked at 11 o'clock, they would get rid of, like, this is like a steakhouse. They're serving like lobster and steak and, you know, wine and all this stuff. But at 11 o'clock, they would push all the tables out and bring a fucking, and like the mirror opened up and there was a DJ booth, and then just like 50 to 60-year-old yacht people from the streets of Annapolis would like pour in and like finger fuck each other, like just in the dining room. No exaggeration. Like straight up, like that. We had to consistently like break up people who were trying to like senior people who were like trying to fuck each other. So, like Avicii.
What a great 2 adjacent states, PA and Maryland, are.
Well, it's the same kind of affluent trash, and that's what it really is. It's a type of affluent trash. It's like, it's people that aren't poor, but they still just like have this like weird like white trash mindset, even though they can afford fucking, you know, boats in the Annapolis Harbor. They're still just like pieces of shit.
Fascinating.
It's really bizarre. Oh, what I was going to say is that the other crazy thing that happened that night in Harrisburg, one of the comics I was with, he used to be a cop, and he was talking about like how fucked up it is to be a cop. Like I think he was with the Baltimore Police Department. I don't remember. But he was like,
yeah, it's a thin blue line, man.
Well, what's great,
he was like sitting in the back with your like hands on your lap.
Well,
look, sometimes you gotta knock some skulls if you want to solve some problems.
Well, that's kind of what he said. He was like, hey man, I had to stop being a cop. We were doing too much fucked up shit. I was like what? He's like, we used to respond. He goes, we would always respond to this woman who had Alzheimer's, and I would just steal money out of her purse. He's like, I must have stole like $500-600 from that bitch. He was like, we would do shit like that all the time.
Oh my God. I just had a memory come back to me recently where, like, when I was a kid, I did Tang Soo Do, which is like Taekwondo, but like worse. And it's for kids. It's karate. I mean, all karate's for kids except for like fucking MMA or whatever.
Right.
But in our class, which was mostly children, there was this guy, Officer Buchkowski, who was just like
Oh no, I don't know. He was in PA. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Who was just like a cop who was like taking the class, and every now and then the instructor would have him like come up to the front and share with us how he used Tang Soo Do like in his job.
Oh my fucking God.
I remember as a kid, you're like, wow, this stuff's really useful for like stopping criminals from hurting you. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, he was fucking practicing 1-steps on black people. He was just
yeah, dude, he was definitely just like karate chopping handcuffed like suspects. He was practicing karate chops on people who were face down on the pavement.
Yeah. There's these things called 1-steps that we would do. Is that like a universal thing? Do you know what that is?
Describe it.
So it's like it's basically like practicing like a muscle memory response to like a particular attack. So like if someone punches you, you practice like block, elbow, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So he was definitely just like arresting someone and then pulling over in like an alley and letting them get out and taking the handcuffs off and being like, come at me.
I dare you.
Yeah.
It's literally, it would literally be like, it would be the same thing if he was just like looking up pro wrestling moves online. He'd be like, I need this for work.
But yeah, how fucking pathetic is that? Taking a children's karate class so that you can be a worse cop.
Yeah, man. A lot adults in karate classes. I mean, cops especially.
Very suspect.
They're incredibly sus. Incredibly
Honestly,
sus.
like any adult involved in karate. Like the instructors.
Yeah. Well,
like, I remember one of our instructors, he just like fucked one of the women in the class and like knocked her up. And then like she just stopped coming to class.
Damn, dude. Well, we had a guy. I learned Taekwondo from like two like legit ass Filipino brothers, and they were little dudes, but somehow it felt less creepy than like when every time I've seen just like white people,
just like a ponytailed white guy being like, "All right, kids."
Yeah, you're the villain from Karate Kid 3. Like you know, it's a red flag. But something about getting like true Filipino people to teach you Taekwondo, and I don't know why. There's no reason other than it's a weird instance of like positive racism where you're like, oh,
this must be really well done. I think.
Yeah, he's flowing with wisdom. Yeah. Although it was really funny because there was one time when my buddy CJ, we would go to class together, and he they like wouldn't let you go to the bathroom because like it's like school. They don't want to let you to go to the bathroom all the time. They don't want you to skip. But CJ really had to take a shit, but he didn't. He knew he wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom, so he didn't tell, and he must have also been constipated. So at some point while he was doing whatever form we were doing, it might have been like Darren Young or Poggy 2, I can't remember. He let 5 little rabbit turds just like roll out of like his left pant leg. and so
quick, like, do a roundhouse kick and throw him across the room.
Yeah, it's like fucking Revenge of Shinobi. You throw him down like a smoke bomb. And it took
kick it like a Pokeball.
It took Master Apollo 10 minutes to notice them, and when he did, he just like he stopped speaking English. He just started speaking Filipino again. And he had such a meltdown.
Everyone's barefoot. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was wrong to do it. The kid who did it,
yeah,
he was wrong to do it. But he had such a meltdown that he sent we've been in class for 10 minutes, and he just sent everybody home. He was. He was utterly devastated by 5 turds.
You know what's even weirder? I went to karate camp where like it was like a bunch of kids in a cabin and like some adult black belt in the cabin with you. I'm against kids in cabins with adults, like just on principle. Yeah, it's weird.
It's very strange.
I remember we were like we'd like clown on him too. Like I remember some kid found like a nutrient bar in his bag that it said like formulated for women or something. And we all started screaming that he was a woman and like running in circles and hiding from him.
Kids are so fucking funny.
He just made us do like 1,000 push-ups.
Yeah, we did, dude. It's crazy. I remember when I got my black belt. And the test was almost 20 hours long. We spent the night there, and we ran 10 miles. We did 1,500 sit-ups, 1,500 squats, and 1,000 push-ups. And I was like, how was there a time in my life when I did 1,000 push? Like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah, it's weird. I was also just like a shredded 13-year-old.
Right. No, me too. I remember I had abs. Now it kind of like when you think about like a 13-year-old with abs, it gives you like I don't know if I agree with that. But that's what I was.
Cover those up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I was like
obscene.
I was like a shredded I was like a shredded black belt. I could have beat more people up going into high school, and I just completely neglected it.
I remember once, like, like weird theater kid nonsense. I was just like shirtless at school. Like I thought it was funny, and someone took like a picture of it and put it on Facebook. And this girl who I wanted to fuck so badly, she comments, she's like, "Is that photoshopped?" And I'm like, "No, that's my real body." And she's like, "No, it isn't." And then I'm just like, "Huh? She thought it was photoshopped. Interesting." And then just like. Yeah. Did not pursue it at all, and then it was one of those moments where it's like 7 years later. I'm like 25, and I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, dude. There's so many.
Then you look her up on Facebook. You're like, still so hot.
Yeah, I have a lot of those where like girls who I flirted with in middle school. There was this one girl. I was just like straight like what we never had sex. I don't even think I was masturbating yet. I like did not know what my dick was for when I was in 7th grade.
You have no data on your dick.
No data. I've not done the research, but I would hang out with this girl pretty regularly because we were in this production of Honk together. And like,
dude, who are you in Honk?
I was the cat, dude.
I was Greylag the goose.
That's a good part. That's a good part.
I had to do a British accent. God, theater sucks. I don't know if I'm gonna let my kids do it.
Yeah, you should. Well, unless they get a lot of pussy, because this is the thing. During this production, this is the same production where like the kid who was gay made me jack off in the bathroom next to him, and I didn't know how to jack off. I didn't know what it was yet, and he did that. He did all 3 shows with like Hustler magazines in the front of it, hidden in his duck costume. But this other girl who was just like in the chorus, we would sneak away every night of this production of Honk, and we would like go into like the room where they're keeping props, and I would just suck on her titties for like 15-20 minutes. I was just like completely soft sucking on this girl's titties while my parents were out in the gymnasium audience. It's absolutely obscene.
Sucking on titties, just unclear why.
I mean, I definitely liked it.
This seems like a good idea.
It was just I was just following pure animal instinct at that point. Like, I know that I like this. And she's also now she's like an incredibly, I think she's like a model now. She's like ridiculously successful.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got to suck on her budding B cup titties.
When I was also a child. It's so funny. The guy who directed that went to jail years later for being a pedophile, for having child porn on his hard drive.
Interesting.
Yeah. So who knows?
Fascinating.
Maybe he did know that we were doing that. Maybe he gave it.
He's just hidden in like a prop big egg or something.
Wouldn't it be so funny if like we found out later that he had like given us all ecstasy water? Like that was why we were all jacking off and fucking.
That's such a funny juxtaposition of you like getting like almost like lightly sexually assaulted, where like a boy's forcing you to jerk off like in a doorway next to him.
Yeah,
and then you're like, well, time to go suck on some titties for reasons I don't understand.
It is. I have always said it's very funny how little I was putting together about what I was supposed to do with my dick. Because I was I loved touching breasts. I loved squeezing boobies and kissing girls. And I just hit a wall after that point. I was like, what? I don't know. I couldn't.
You had a good first act written.
I had a great first act. It's like, you know,
when you hit the end of the outline, you're like, fuck, I thought I'd have more ideas by now.
I just couldn't assign a value to X, and X was touching my cock, but I couldn't complete. I couldn't complete the equation.
You're just looking at it. I know this is part of this.
I remember the first time I jacked off. I remember like, oh my God, dude. My dad was in the computer room. I had to tactically run to the bathroom after to clean up. But yeah.
You jacked off in the room with your dad?
No. So the computer room was like across the way from my bedroom. My door was open, and I don't even know what happened. My dick just felt good, and I just started touching it, and touched it longer than because like you get that thing where like sometimes you wake up and you like rub your dick against the mattress, and you're just trying to ride that, you know, ride the feeling, chase the dragon.
Yeah, that's how I jacked off for years. Like even when I found out about your hand, I was like, not enough pressure. I don't like it.
Not as good. Yeah.
It does with the hand. It's not even like permanently damaging it.
Right. Yeah.
It's fucking kindergarten.
Yeah, I need to feel the artisanal molding on this antique cabinet. Like I'm a man of luxury. What can I say? Like
I definitely did just like rub my dick on the coffee table.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Imagine you get really into you just jacking off with your parents' fine china. You're just like... You're just breaking ornate plates over your dick like it's one of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, there is a lot of just like straight up torture. Like I feel like all little boy sexuality starts from cock and ball torture and then like branches out from there.
We all start at the BME Pain Olympics, and then we're like, all right, let's dial that in a little bit.
I'm not like in a rush to get off, but I just wanted to tell you that it has been an hour.
I'm about to go hang out with Victoria and Isaac.
Oh, okay, cool. Then we will remind me on Thursday about the BME Pain Olympics. I want to dive in.
I'll make a note. No. We can continue this. This will be good. Also, all right. I'll talk about it with you off mic.
All right,
buddy.
Cool.
See ya.
Knock, knock, open up, it's me, the crazy, shady, faded fucker, so rock the G. See you later, make a baby, lead her on in peace. Only time I give a fuck is for my own release. That's why I own these streets. Straight up, portfolio, showing growth, fuck a pay cut. Yeah, you know I stay slut. Catch me in the spot, looping up for the self-suck. Oh fuck, I busted already, I'm coming bucket so heavy. My dream of cream coming steady, now my mouth open, I'm ready. I'm talking solo, heavy petting on a Friday night. That talking bashing the bishop, more like Nantucket's delight. I'm taking all the time I need to do it just right. Got my candles in the fishnets cause it's on tonight. Oh, that's right, it's time to fillet. No need to debate me, I suck until I go ooh-wee and spray my white pee-pee. I got that ski.